Hey, what's up? My name is Devontae. I'm a filmmaker based out of Harlem, New York City. And this YouTube channel, BC14 Pictures, is a YouTube channel, basically a production company, something we're creating in Harlem. And it's not just for the sake of creating commercial ads or films just for clients, but also just projects for ourselves, for the community. Is just in terms of just for Black people. And I think for the first video, I want to talk about some of the things that not only plague us as filmmakers, but also other people should know when trying to get into the industry, because things are changing. The way we consume content is changing, and the industry, the model in which they created the industry on, is no longer really viable the way that it's, I guess, been for the last, 50, 60, 70 years. So I'm going to get a little bit of input in terms of what's been going on, as well as just what we can do as a community to help each other. And when I mean community, I mean Black people. There's plenty of filmmakers on YouTube who, have a successful career, who have careers getting work, doing clients, being freelance. I'm one of those filmmakers, but this is something we decided to do as a collective. Me and two other people, Kadeem and Barada. This is something we decided to do because we are all filmmakers in our different fields. I'm a DP, started off as an editor, got into audio mixing and mastering as well. We are all filmmakers in our own different ways, and we wanted to come together to do something for the community for once, in a way for us to support each other, and we can kind of just do this moving forward, because this is how content is being consumed. Now, the climb to becoming a filmmaker is definitely challenging. There's a lot of things you have to do. Some people think you have to buy, just millions and millions of dollars worth of gear, or thousands of dollars worth of gear. In order to start, you don't necessarily have to use or have to have all this gear in order to be, to start out the journey. But for people of color, the path is completely different. Typically in a film, you would write, a script, you would draft it multiple times, and ultimately you would send it to someone, and maybe they would like the script, and then they would send it to someone else who then felt like, okay, well, maybe we need to get this made in film. I'm oversimplifying it for the sake of what I'm going to say going forward in the rest of this video. But in reality, it's still predominantly white. Even on the YouTube filmmaking space, every time you want to look up how to, create videos, or how to filmmake, how to do certain lighting setups for cinematography, it's mostly white filmmakers. The industry is still predominantly white, but there's a kind of a disparity, because on social media, Black people tend to run trends. In the US, specifically globally, people are very much in tune to trends from the Black community, hip hop, music, our sense of humor, our style. So there's kind of like a weird thing where it's like the industry still kind of keeps out a lot of our voices. And we've often had to take these alternative routes, and this is kind of some of the things that apply today, because the industry is changing, that we can apply to ourselves, and also how we can adapt based on the things that we're experiencing today. So one of the things that we as Black people did not have the experience to do for many different reasons is go to film school. I didn't go to film school. I went to college, yes. I have a bachelor's of science in criminology, but I did not go to film school. And for many of you who are Black, your parents didn't really, I wouldn't say didn't accept it, but they didn't see it as a viable, sustainable career for you, in terms of they want you to just get out the hood, do well for yourself, have a family, do the stable thing. And also, some of us just didn't simply have the money. Now, fortunately, that wasn't my situation per se, but parents just didn't have the money, or that just wasn't a good thing to spend money on. So some people didn't go to film school. Now, obviously, in contrast to that, you can go online nowadays and you can teach yourself filmmaking. I taught myself filmmaking. I started off as an editor. I taught myself how to edit, then spent years kind of teaching myself the art of cinematography, filmmaking, and just now I've recently gotten into writing. So because of the internet, there are things out there and tools out there you can use to basically, up your education in the thing that you want to do to make yourself better. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I have to preface this by saying you have to learn how to learn. You can't just, go online and just like, oh yeah, watch a couple videos and you're a professional. No, you have to be realistic with yourself to know that when you're starting the journey, you're probably going to suck. Somewhere in between that, you're going to suck still. And then you're going to get to a checkpoint where you're hit the intermediate stage where your work kind of looks good, but there's some polishing you can do. And then even then, the journey of being a filmmaker or mastering anything is understanding you will never be perfect. There will always be things you will have to learn and improve on. There's always something you can do better. So never put in your head that you've reached something in terms of, oh yeah, I'm a master filmmaker. Even the masters of their craft, they know that they can always learn something brand new from somebody else. So that's something you have to be real with yourself. You're going to learn how to learn and understand that your skills are going to be lacking, and then also be realistic with yourself and in terms of your skills. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about in regards to the industry is that usually when Black people come to the industry, like let's say, for example, Issa Rae, for example, she's very popular. She's talented. She's written a lot of popular shows, and she does what she can to provide representation into her shows and movies and all that stuff. But one of the things that's very, I guess, upsetting in the industry is that typically Black people are used as like this burden of representation for the entire community. They represent the entire community versus people who are not Black, people who are not of color. When they tell stories, it's just their story. But then we have to tell stories that are, based on everybody else. Black people, just like white people, we're very multifaceted. We have different types of lives. We have different types of perspectives. Even though we have very similar culture, obviously, because we are of the same ethnic and racial background in the country, we still have all individual stories that differ from each other and differ in perspective. But the thing is, we're not held to the same standard. And the thing that we have to do online, especially when we're creating films, is we have to separate ourselves not only as people, but also as individuals. We have to tell stories in a way that this is my perspective on it. And I think because the industry is changing so much, you have to use your perspective on things to really, really let people know this is my story and separate yourself. And it sucks that we have to work 2 times harder to do that. So that's one thing that I think needs to change. Now, I'm not going to drag this video out because this is one of the first videos we're doing for the channel, but I kind of want people to feel encouraged, I guess, because people like myself and also my crew and also where we come from, we're from Harlem, and we come from New Heritage Theater and New Heritage Film, which is basically one of the oldest Black nonprofit theater companies and nonprofit film resource that comes out of Harlem. It's been around for about 70 years by Vosa Rivers, who's about to retire soon. But in reality, it's just like a lot of what's going on in the community has been going on, and we've already been able to adapt and do what we need to do to get as far as we have without the resources. And I wanted to kind of put this video out to let people know this channel is meant for that. We're not only trying to put out content for ourselves and enjoy and create things that we enjoy as a collective, but also to let people know that yes, there are people out there who are trying to give resources. So I want people to know that this channel is not only to teach you how to, be a better cinematographer or how to get the best mix and master for your sound, and how to color grade and how to grip and how to write and pre-production, all that, even though we will tell you all that stuff as well as the videos come along, but also it's to let people know that we are a voice for the community as well, and we're a resource for the community. We're trying to bring people together. We're trying to create these projects. We're trying to just bring this more to the community so that way we can reach more and we can do our own thing more, and we can each as individuals as well tell our own stories more. So at least this video, I hope it's a little informative, and I hope it just provides you with a little bit of courage that yes, things are changing, but things have always been like this for Black people. We've always had to go the extra mile just to get our stories told, just to get things in front of people's eyes. So the people who are new to this experience, they're new to this experience. But for people like us, it's just a regular Tuesday. Peace out.